Chris on 11 at the
shark runner. I love him. I love him so much. Yum yum.
Chris on 11. He like, look at his fat ass.
That waddle.
He's tired too. Wait. They trying to leave his head. Hey everybody, Double Toasted Live is coming to New York on September 10th. Hey, that's my big birthday weekend, so help me celebrate with you. You can get your tickets right now over at doubletoasted.com or go to x1entertainment.com/double-toasted-Brooklyn. Hey, there's a limited number of all access tickets and VIP tickets. They're going pretty fast, so go over there and get your tickets now. Hey everyone, support our Patreon, which helps us to continue bringing you our live streams, videos, and podcasts while bringing you new content such as exclusive live streams and animated shorts. People said, and this is true, man. There are people out there who said, you know what? Ever since I was a child, I waited years and years and years. I wasn't even asking for the best, but I was just waiting for a decent, just a nice Suicide Squad movie, and this is what I got. Mother, not the Suicide Squad I want. That was the audience that they came out the theater. Damn, boy, they got us all, man. Shit, we thought Freddie Mercury came back to life for this movie.
Part of the squad.
Yeah, he was part of the squad. DC and Warner Brothers, they've heard your cries, they tasted your tears. And as you can see, they were trying to get a lot of things back on track, and a lot of things started working. For the most part, you had Joker out there, Shazam was doing his thing. They did something else not too long ago. Even they had success just scrapping together Justice League again. So they said,
Birds of Prey.
Birds of Prey was out. Thank you. Yes, Harley Quinn and the long ass title that made nobody want to watch the movie. But. And they said, well, why we getting things?
I got lost in the title. I never went to see it.
Yeah. Harley Quinn, the long ass.
Harley Quinn and the
Quinn, the long ass title that scared motherfuckers away. Let's go watch that movie.
I'll just watch Ant-Man 2. It's all right.
Shit, Harley Quinn would have simply done the job. They said, hey, while we're doing that, why don't we just go ahead and for fixing things, let's fix the Suicide Squad. That's right, not Suicide Squad. We are so confident that you'll like this movie. If you don't love it, you'll at least like it. That it has earned the name The Suicide Squad, which means we ain't that shit over there.
Right.
And this time, they said another thing that's been working for us is that, now we get to be all nasty and we get to be all violent and bloody, and that's exactly what they did here as they unleashed James Gunn to do his thing. So far, it's been getting a lot of favorable reviews, high scores everywhere, including Rotten Tomatoes. But what do we think? Let's go ahead and take a look at the trailer for The Suicide Squad. And we'll be back right after this. Is this the real life? Shit. I was like, what are you doing? No! Chris on 11 at the
shark runner. I love him. I love him so much. Yum yum.
Chris on 11. He like, look at his fat ass.
That waddle.
He's tired too. Wait. They trying to leave his head. People keep dancing around that word reboot with this. Well, it's kind of a sequel, kind of fresh start, it's a new reimagining. It's a reboot, all right. It's a soft reboot, but it's a reboot.
How do you figure it's a reboot?
Because they're
very coy about certain details. They're like, oh yeah, Boomerang, I remember you. We can keep going. Harley, what are you doing back here? I got arrested again. And it's like, okay. They're establishing that they know each other. We're not getting the details about, we delved that big old fucking
the
portal
two of them
in the
are
sky.
there, it seems like, well, that makes it a sequel.
It's just that
there's nothing that contradicts what happened before.
It's not a sequel. First of all, I even said it's not a sequel. So it's not a direct sequel. They're just what they're trying to do is it's a fucking reboot. What they're trying to do is keep people from being confused. But what they don't make no doubt. What they are quietly, humbly saying, we know it, and we want you to. It was a good idea, and it's too good to throw away.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and not confuse you. Let's make some nods to the original. Let's say this, let's say that. But it's really kind of a reboot that they're doing right here. It's a reboot to the point where they replaced a black dude that shoots really good with another black dude that shoots really good. That's what I mean by soft reboot. They even have characters or actors they can't bring back, but they got the same formula here, what they're doing.
That makes sense.
Boy, do they.
But they do, and it is, I'm just saying, it's confusing just from the trailer because you get Amanda Waller saying, now you remember the deal, I'll put this shit in the back of your head, you're gonna blow up.
Yeah.
So that makes it sound like a sequel. That's all I gotta say. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. It's
But
Yeah, no. What this is what it is that it's them. It's them doing their own thing right here. It's a crazy ass thing that they're doing right here, but it is his own thing. This is what happens when you tell a guy that worked at Troma Films. I'm talking about James Gunn right here.
Or Santa Claus.
I love the way this shit is so. People, first of all, this movie is so violent. It even turned his hair white.
He scared himself.
Yeah, not gray, but white.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, didn't he used to have brown hair?
Yes, he did.
Gray, white and wispy.
Yeah, and yet, when somebody in the chat said it's a remake, you can kind of look at it like that too, in a way. Yeah, it's kind of.
His hair?
Yeah, it's kind of.
The remake.
He's remaking himself. I'm a new James Gunn. Yeah.
Shit, if you look at pictures when he's on set, he had black hair. They told this man he could do whatever he wants, and apparently some of them didn't see some of the things that he did in the past. Now imagine that with $100 million and more blood.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's about right.
And more special effects. That's Romeo and Juliet. James Gunn used to work there. The reason why y'all got all that, all that nice, clean family fun over at Marvel with Guardians of the Galaxy is because Disney was on his ass. They said, we want that money. Don't you offend none of these parents. Don't you scare none of these kids out here. We trying to get paid. But over at DC, over at Warner Brothers, they told that man, hey, you know what? We're going to give you $100 million. And they took the chain off and just let his ass run away.
Open up the gate.
Yeah, man.
And this way, we don't have to worry about you talking shit after the movie. You can't say a goddamn thing.
Yeah.
We'll have a day that air situation.
Yeah, James Gunn. Because when James Gunn is left to be James Gunn, you get crazy shit. If you've seen any of his movies, like Slither or Super, have you seen like Romeo and Juliet? This thing is insanely violent, man. From the get go. Y'all need to wear a raincoat when y'all go see this shit. Because it don't take long to live up to its name, the Suicide Squad. Shit, they got a team to make sure they deliver on that name.
Right.
So there is no.
It's like we do nothing else. You cannot say this was false advertising.
No, they got a team to make sure they don't get sued. They say y'all go out there and get killed. And that's and I'm just letting you know right now that this is probably one of the most violent superhero movies that I've ever seen. If you really want to, if you want to go there, and if you thought Joker was crazy, or if you thought Deadpool ran out the theater. Deadpool got nothing on James Gunn. Shit, James Gunn took the dead out of pool. You just pool, bitch. This is
It's mine now.
Yeah, his dead is mine. I took that title. You just a pool right now. Yeah, man, it's insane how violent this is. You have no idea before you get in there. Yeah. So if you are squeamish, just be forewarned. And the reason why I'm stressing, because the violence is not what gets me in this. I will say that early on in the movie, it's mean-spirited violence.
Very much so.
Yeah, I was when they did something early on in the movie. I was like, man, well, shit, if we gonna continue to be this mean, I don't know if I want to hang with y'all.
It makes me uncomfortable.
A joke's a joke, but come on.
I mean, I'm slightly offended here. Just so you know, man, it's that kind of mean-spirited humor. The other half of this, though, that if you know James Gunn, then some of this, you don't know James Gunn, it's going to even seem more mean. But if you know James Gunn, you know his sense of humor, and you know the connections that he has with people in his career, you can kind of understand why he's doing what he's doing and why it is like it is. A lot of this, the violence all of a sudden takes on more comedy. It even takes on more of a fun nature. It doesn't even seem real anymore. It just seems the violence it gets to a point where it seems like the actors and the crew and everybody, they're just having fun. They're just like grown-ups with action figures, except the action figures actually bleed.
Explode.
Yeah,
They turn into meat.
It's like when you took your action figers apart, they actually scream and bled. No, please. But go ahead.
You know, it's Sid from Toy Story.
Yeah, good comparison.
That's exact. James Gunn is Sid from Toy Story.
Little crazy bastard.
That's who he grew up to
He
be.
grew up.
But go ahead, man.
Oh no! You know what? Yeah, you're right about the violence. It's cranked up to a level where you're like, was that really necessary? I mean, I get it, man. But you know, it is more the Suicide Squad that you wanted to get.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was going to say, we had a great conversation in the car off mic, and how this film feels very much like an 80s action film, where it's super violent, super over the top, always for whatever reason set in a jungle or somewhere in South America, you know, like during the Reagan administration, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I just really love that aesthetic of the film.
They gave James Gunn $100 million. I'm like, are they sure that they knew what this man was going to do when they gave him this money? Because blockbusters, people don't even want rated R blockbusters to be this crazy, because this is a hard R.
Yeah.
But I was telling Herman in the car, I said, man, you know, but I remember being in the 80s and in the early 90s, and blockbusters were completely, rated R. Not all, but they weren't afraid to make rated R blockbusters and put them out in the theaters. Unlike today, where superheroes. Now, this is one thing I will say: superheroes are taking over. PG-13 has really been the ground because everybody wants to really capitalize on something. But this is insane what they've done here. But the thing with this is that I'm talking about how they, these characters, they're killing so many people in this movie. But while they last, I was surprised at how well the craziest of crazy characters work. I shouldn't be that surprised, because these are a bunch of D-list characters that nobody gives a shit about anyway. At least not until you see this movie.
Yo, is this a dog?
I wanted to meet a werewolf forever.
Yo, they turned me into a werewolf? Yo, let me know. I do not.
I'm not saying that Pete Davidson dies, but I'm saying if I was just watching this clip, I wouldn't put my money on it.
His chances are low.
As soon as he did that shit, I was like, this is dead, man.
I'm not saying,
I didn't see the movie, so
I'm not saying he dies, but if I was a betting man, if they gave me a Deadpool or a Lister player, we would, taking bets. I'm just telling the mother gets on the plane, he can't even buckle his seatbelt.
That's what I'm saying. As soon as he said his freak out, I was like, that's it for him. That's his ass.
He gets on, he's like, how do you do that?
Yeah, Nathan Fillion has to help him. It's like, no. And even he got confused. He's like, fuck it, whatever.
That Weasel looking at him like, hey, man, you gonna die.
That's your ass. Even I know what to do.
Don't worry about me.
Yeah, you need to take care of that seat right there. Eyes all bugged out.
But as crazy as these characters are, they show exactly what was wrong with what David Ayers did with his characters. Look, I'm on David Ayers' side about this whole thing with him getting screwed over by Warner Brothers, but he fucked some of these characters up, and you can see clearly how he did it. Listen, y'all, because I'm looking at this, because what he did was with his characters, he tried to make them. He was so concerned about making his characters what he usually does, and that is making them street.
Yeah.
You know, he was so
Gangsta.
concerned with making them gangster and edgy and street to the point where he made some racial stereotypes with them. Listen, I tell you, man, I'll take a stupid ass shark man any day.
Any questions?
And
Yes, that is your hand.
You're like, damn, that's hot.
So cute.
He's a dove. Man, I'd take a stupid ass shark man any day over a black BET watching alligator man.
I'm not asking, bruh.
There he goes. Shit, somebody told him BET was in that water. What he did with these characters is night and day. David Ayer was trying to make them, what his signature is, gangster, street, stereotypes. Don't even get me started on the Cholo,
Diablo.
the flaming Cholo dude. Where, James Gunn looked at these characters. He actually went and did some research to find the most D-list and crazy characters that he could, and went and said, let me take those and let me embrace these characters for what they are.
Yeah.
Sure, and find what's zany about them.
Yep. I was really impressed with the way he took these characters and how they looked, and yet in the story that we have here, and with some of the direction of the shots, he made those characters look completely natural. Mm-hmm. Like this is the Suicide Squad. This is a war film. This is look. It's going to end up turning into a comic book movie, but this is treated like and you've heard it before, and it is very much true. This is a Dirty Dozen's war film. Mm-hmm. It's a Dirty Dozen war heist movie. So taking these insanely exaggerated characters and fitting them in, they fit perfectly. It like that shark running with the rest of those characters. There are moments where that shark feels like an actual character. What was his name?
Oh God, Now,
yeah,
or something like that.
Now, go nom nom.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are moments where, man, the CG on the characters is great. Or you get Polka Dot Man. Polka Dot Man, as ridiculous as he's dressed, it doesn't stand out. There's never a moment it looks stupid, but there's never a moment where you say, man, that looks stupid. It fits right in with everything. And his powers. Yes, the powers are stupid, but James Gunn even made them more. He went in and made them more twisted to where, okay, that seems to fit right in with everything too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought it was brilliant. A lot of things that they did as far as the characters go here, man. As mean-spirited as the movie is, as it goes along, it starts to have a little more heart. Y'all gonna think I'm crazy when I say this. The movie actually turns into Stuart Little at some points. The mouse, yes. Just watch the movie. It straight up turns into Stuart Little. I will
You're
not
right.
say.
I think you're crazy.
Yeah. They called me crazy, but you'll see. And the thing is, I'm saying Stuart Little, and it works, man.
Yeah.
Y'all talking about, wait a minute, this is a Dirty Dozen war movie. You got a shark man running around, and Stuart Little is there too. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Like I said, I'm not here to hate on David Ayer. Not at all. Not at all. I think I can see now after watching this movie where his mistakes really lie. But still, going back to that first Suicide Squad movie, they did give us some great things. They gave us some great things in the form of casting. Viola Davis, she's still great as Amanda Waller. Still a bad bitch. Now, the funny thing is that they're not using her as much as they used in the first Suicide Squad movie from 2016. But the way they use her and the little that they have her is effective. She went off at one point.
I love that scene. That was one of the funniest moments in the movie.
Amanda Waller was so cool in that last movie. Somebody got on her goddamn nerves. You mother. she got black on her. And Joel Kinnaman as Rick Flag used a lot more here and used to better effect. And I liked him in the first movie. And here, he definitely is, like I said, man, a lot of these characters weren't used for story effect. And all of them are used for that here, including Joel Kinnaman as...
His personality is different here. Because the first time around, he looked put upon and just kind of sad the whole time.
I agree.
So this time, he's more like, all right, well, if everybody else has jokes, I got jokes too.
Yeah, no, that is true.
He got out of that toxic relationship with, the belly dancing witch, so I was like, good, not talking that again.
But it's really refreshing to see a superhero blockbuster movie say, we don't give a f- about your kids, man. You want to bring them here and get them traumatized? That is fine with us. You know, the thing is, they're going to see this anyway. Shit, and they'll be just fine after they see it. Most of you parents, and this is where we got our discussion, most of you parents out there, most of you grew up on rated R blockbusters. All of y'all watching Rambo. All y'all, you know, you grew up with the Total Recall and Terminator 2.
35 years from now, you reprogrammed me to be your protector here.
Oh man, I remember watching that when I was 7 years old, boy.
I love that though. Who brought you here? You did. 45 years ago. Oh, I need your whole life story. Just all right. I didn't ask you all that shit.
Yeah, RoboCop. I didn't say blockbuster because RoboCop wasn't like $100 million. It was actually relatively low budget as far as Hollywood goes. But hey, that was still something that was a major movie. So man, yeah, you know, all these movies. Y'all saw these movies as kids, man. You know, there are so many characters in this, man, that this could have easily gone out of control. You know, this is, you know, like we saw the teaser with the roll call here, man. This could have easily gone off the rails. This could have easily just gone all over the place because you have so many different characters in here, and you could have gone off on so many different storylines. But I was surprised at how well, with so much going on, the storyline stayed focused. You know, and there's a lot going on. I think, if anything, it might make the movie a little too long. It's 2 hours and 12 minutes. I don't think it needs to be that long.
I didn't really feel the length personally.
Not every joke lands, man. There's a, you know, because this is really a comedy, and this is how you kind of have to look at it. Once things get overwhelming with the violence and the blood, you got to sit back and say, you know what, this is a straight up comedy, man. It's just ridiculous with some things that they do here. The violence, especially, is never done at the expense of the characters, man. You know, the characters are funny, and like I said, you know, as the movie goes along, right up to the very end, you know, it keeps just having more emotion and more heart, and these characters will start to work more as a team. And they are villains, and they're stupid too.
Yeah, so you can't even call it a superhero blockbuster. It's a supervillain blockbuster.
Yeah, and they are, and seriously, that's what I mean by the spirited nature of it, because they actually live up to being criminals. But again, that's what we just talked about. That's what you want in a Suicide Squad movie. They're assholes, man. At some point, it seems to realize, all right, listen, we can't push the audience away. And really, by the end of the movie, man, before the credits rolled, I was surprised at how much the movie had turned around. And okay, you know, I don't know if I'm supposed to feel this way because these guys are criminals, but I felt it, man. I felt it in my heart.
Well, you see any group of people having camaraderie, no matter how much you disliked them before, you can't help but root for them. It makes you feel good to see people working together.
No, that is true.
They're never not self-serving. They're always that consistent, I think, for most of the film. You know, but you do have a few like characters that like just caught in a bad situation. Like I think like Ratcatcher too. She's kind of like the heart of the team, and she typically brings out the best out of everybody.
Who was that actress that played Ratcatcher?
I just showed her name, Daniela something.
Daniela Melchior. Yeah, she. You know, once you get a story behind her powers and her background, it actually makes sense. You know, they're not just being goofy and stupid just for cheap laughs throughout most of the movie. You know, some things they are. I mean, there's just some parts that are just childish. You know, there's nothing else you can say. But for the most part, they do try to keep the focus of building character and story. Idris Elba.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah,
I mean, you just like Will Smith anchored the first one, he's the anchor in this one.
You mother out. I'm mad at y'all. I looked at this and said, man, I caught a good glimpse, a chunk of what a great James Bond movie would have been with him. Like he's the leader of the Suicide Squad here, and there are moments he has that attitude and the coolness of killing people. You know, in such a smooth way. I was like, man, y'all. You did it to yourselves. All you naysayers in MGM, you deprived the world of what could have been a great James Bond out there, man.
He has some of the best fight choreography in the movie. Him and John Cena, I think.
Speaking of John Cena as Peacemaker, man, he and I don't know how you feel about John Cena, because I know you're not crazy about him, but
I like him.
Do you like him?
I like him.
because I thought he was John Cena. The more he does comedies now, I don't know how he'll doing a drama at some point, but I've always liked John Cena, man. Even the movies that were not that good, I was like, this guy's got some personality, man. He's likable, and he's very funny here because he really does embrace just being completely goofy here. And they have, they do a lot of things with his characters that are very surprising too. But Idris Elba, his story has such a arc to it, man. We're looking for characters that have some sort of redemption, and he does bring that story here. Like I said, I kind of felt something for his character as the movie just kept going. I was like, wow, they were fully going in and doing some great development on this character right here.
Well, he also embraces a lot of what the Suicide Squad is about, is that, yes, he is a killer and he deserves to be behind bars, but he's being straight up blackmailed into doing this.
Yeah.
So that automatically puts you on his side because you're like, man, Amanda Waller, you are a piece of shit.
Amanda Waller, like she is
nasty.
Amanda Waller is just a straight up bitch, man.
She's supposed to be, right?
But she's more villainous. She is more of a villain here.
Yeah.
And she needs to get on that goddamn squad, man, because she's more villainous than any of them.
That'd be good. That's a good idea.
I mean, at a moment, she's just taking glee watching people die.
She really is. Open the case because of the buttons. I can't wait to blow them up. Yes.
That guy's running too slow. Let me go ahead and push his button.
Yeah.
I told you to keep up.
Yeah. I don't like the way he's looking at me in the camera. You know what? Fuck.
What also helps sells it too is her staff and like all their reactions to her. And everything.
Even they're like, God damn.
They're all horrified by
Working for it.
Yeah, like,
Damn.
you a kid when you just said that back there. Now look like I was a kid.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Matter of fact,
man.
say something else. I look like I was kidding.
Yeah. She don't, man. That's why I love what that's why I love this character. They do a lot with her. It's sort of an even more comedic big screen version of The Boys on Amazon.
It reminds me of that kind of, just the trailer, knowing The Boys.
It is, man. It really does. It captures more of the tone of The Boys, even right down to having somewhat of a political statement. I don't know if it works as well as it does in The Boys, but because even like that's what I meant by the whole mean spiritedness of it. There's even a point that they're trying to make about American politics in there. Does it land 100%? No, but it's not like they're just doing it to do it. There's some meaning behind it. I didn't think I was going to like this because some people, they're talking about how at the during the third act, and I thought this was going to happen too. During the third act, this just turns into just every superhero climax where they're just blowing up shit. There's explosions, people just wrecking buildings. They did do that. There's a point where they're just tearing up shit, man, just tearing down buildings because in these kind of movies, tearing up buildings looks cool.
Yeah.
It shows that we got money, and so
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And so that when it got to that point, I was like, all right, I'm tired of just seeing buildings and being destroyed. Even though, unlike something like Superman or Man of Steel or watching a Marvel movie, they magically get people out of town, or we just happen to be able to turn the camera away before we see people die. No, we see people getting stepped on, we see people getting crushed.
Yes.
But I will say that third act though, it's doing a lot of cliches that these movies do, but I liked it. Because I thought that a lot of it was done creatively. Up until they just start just tearing up one building after another. That's when it got old. But I actually liked what they did in the third act.
I think he's trying to get out. What? Starro,
Is that a starfish? Which is what everybody said when they saw the trailer. I mean, they didn't even try to hide it. I thought they were going to try to hide what the big villain was at the end, which I'm not going to say, but because it's out there.
30 stories tall. How you gonna hide it?
Exactly. I thought that because I thought they was going to keep that as a big secret because it's in the characters in the comics, but everybody knows what it is. I'm not going to say, but you know what it is, man.
All I'll say is that I always thought that character in the comics was goofy. I know iconic because it's featured on comic book covers and things, but they made that character terrifying.
They actually
and
did,
just
man.
gross.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's a lot of, what surprised me, I knew there's gonna be a lot of blood and gore and stuff, but there's like some Dr. Frankenstein body horror in this. And I was like, not expecting that. And I was like, okay, that kind of took me back.
Yeah.
Freaked me out a little bit.
Now, you're right, man. For the character that they have at the end, that character, I always thought, like, I don't know what they're gonna do with this. This is gonna be dumb. And that, like, no,
made it work. They made it
that
work.
thing was threatening as.
Yes, it was.
Looks dumb in the comics, though.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. But no, once you see what it can really do, it was like, damn, all right, that's some sci-fi horror shit going on right there. Anyway, I'm gonna pass it off because I'm kind of done, giving some of my things out there. But you guys go ahead and wrap things up here.
Yeah, no, it's really inventive and it's fun and it's like, well, I mean, you've got to figure that you needed what David Ayer did first to build upon, to look at and go like, okay, I see what works and a whole lot of what doesn't, and I can build from there. And it's fun to see James Gunn cut loose and do some amazing things with this. Some really just cool little asides and vignettes. And for me, this has been the best utilization of Harley Quinn outside of her own TV show. Unlike you guys, I just found this movie to be good but inconsistent. And I did feel the length, not because I was bored, but because so many times the narrative would come to a halt to do something on the side.
Yeah, what do you give it?
I give it a low matinee.
All right.
If you're going in this movie and you think that you know who exactly is going to die, you're going to be wrong. There were several times in this film where I was caught by surprise, character twists and betrayals throughout, and I liked it for that. Yeah, as someone who has been a Suicide Squad fan from like the comics, like when they had the original debut of like Deadshot and all those other people from like in the 80s, it was great to see this finally realized, and so I really enjoyed it. It has a couple of issues. I don't think all the jokes land, but yeah, overall, still really fun. I give it a full price.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
I gotta respect James Gunn, man, coming in. I mean, I watched this movie and I feel the love and I feel the fun coming from him. Like I said, even through all the violence when I was watching it, it just looked like people who were friends of James Gunn say, "Hey, man, kill me, man, kill me, and kill me, make it nasty, man."
Nah, I ain't gonna do that.
Can I die like this?
Yeah, man. Yeah. Ooh, I want people to remember how bad I died, man. Yeah, it's and to see that, I don't think there's one artificial feeling moment in this movie, man. Understanding James Gunn and then understanding, even some of the satire that was being done, some of the statements that were being done with what they were doing. This went a little deeper than I thought it would. I love the way, man, I just ended up caring for these characters. Some of these characters are adorable.
Yes, they are. King Shark, I'm sorry, he's like a dog, he's like a Labrador.
Yeah, man.
Look at you.
God damn, I love King Shark, man. I don't want to say anything, but King Shark, I love King Shark, man. If you just talk to him, if you just sit down and show some kindness to him, you'll understand. I mean, that character is
somebody right now.
Yeah, no, he is.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. Hey, you don't want to know.
No.
And most of the people he ate are bad. I love that character, man. Considering that it is a little too long, and that some jokes actually not only did not work, but I was like, stop.
It's too much.
Be quiet. And then don't go sit down for a moment. Just stop telling jokes.
Rewrite that.
Yeah, but it all still worked for me. I give it a low full price. I really enjoyed this. Really enjoyed this a lot. Vast improvement, man. Yeah, I think you guys have a lot of fun with this. Just take your friends, man. Invite friends over when it comes on HBO Max. Invite some friends over. You guys watch this together, man. You're going to have a good time. Have a real good time.